Hey guys, welcome back to our channel Walk and Talk with Jesus. This is Soumya. I trust you're all doing well. As I promised before that we are going to bring some amazing testimonies that Lord has done in our lives. I'm bringing few of my family members before you in upcoming episodes. But for today, I'm gonna bring my dad and share some amazing things that Lord had done in our lives and how He saved my father's life. They are visiting right now in United States. So I would love to use this opportunity and bring him and his testimony before you. There you go. So he's my dad. Lord had done amazing miracles in his life, and in other words, my dad was the person who Lord chose to start with. He is coming from a Hindu background, and then Lord chose him and uprooted him from where he was. So he was the first fruit, and then by God's grace, because I'm his daughter, I was able to serve the Lord, know the Lord from the beginning, and it is of course God's planning. But he was the first one that was chosen in our family. Because of the language barrier, my dad cannot speak a lot. Maybe he'll say yes or no. If I say something wrong, he can interrupt me, but I'm doing the speaking today. If there is an opportunity or chance, I will ask him to do it again, like in our language. And if you guys are interested, just let us know in the comment box below so we can do it again. From my dad's childhood, he has a problem called ankylosing spondylitis. It's been there from his childhood, around from 16 years, and he's been suffering with it. And I've heard many stories that many people thought that he wouldn't even make it. He wouldn't even get married or have children. And then when he had me and my brother, I have an older brother. So that itself was a miracle. And this all happened after he started believing in Christ. And if Lord is willing, and if there is another opportunity, I'll bring my dad's testimony, how he came from the Hindu background and how he believed in Lord and how he started the walk with Lord and all that stuff in another video. But today I want to focus on one little thing or one huge thing in our lives that happened, which I was testifying very closely. He had a problem called ankylosing spondylitis from his childhood, which is around 16 years, but they did not recognize it. They did not know that the problem was ankylosing spondylitis, and they went through many routes and nothing happened. They couldn't figure out. But in 2003, isn't that right? 2003, the first time that you diagnosed that it was ankylosing spondylitis. And it came back again and again. But then I'll share one thing with you all that happened in 2015 to 2016. This was the time that I was in United States. I just got here at that time, and my dad was like super sick, and I was here. And I'm gonna share what happened during this time with you all, and how Lord raised him back from again. And I also have a screenshot, because we were speaking on video calls like FaceTime, and they didn't know that I was taking a picture, but I screenshot him. And but I'm glad that I did, because I can show you how bad condition he was in, and then how Lord brought him back again. I'm not saying medicines didn't do anything, but I believe that Lord used those medicines, and Lord anointed those medicines to help him, and Lord gave the wisdom to the doctors to help him. So in 2016 or 2015, late 2015, he got this problem again back. And then what was the problem exactly at that time? Did you have leg or shoulder? Okay, so this spondylitis is related to arthritis, if you all know about this disease. But that time it was affected his shoulder, and then he got surgery on his left shoulder, and then it couldn't fix it, and then it went bad and worse conditions. And he was bedridden for how many months? Maybe a couple of months, 2 months?
About 5 months.
Okay, about 5 months. I remember it vaguely, but it was about 5 months that he was on bed. And thank God there were amazing, we have amazing relatives that took care of them for a good while in our village, and then my mom was able to take care of him while I and my brother were in here. It was such a hard time, but during this time I remember I spoke to a doctor who was treating him. The problem started because he stopped taking medicine after I left the country, and then after few years, it built it up, and then like after a couple of years it came back with so much strength in it, I believe. And then, but we all know that the God's strength is greater than any other powers or strengths before us on this earth. That was proved once again in our lives at that time. So I spoke to one of the doctors that he was getting treated with, and he did not guarantee his life to me. He said, hey, we did everything that we could do. He didn't take the medicine for a longer time, so I don't think we can save him. In other words, he asked me to come back to the country and spend some days with him, so that I can at least like be with him in the last few days, or and then that was such a discouragement, when I'm hearing from a doctor that is treating him at that point of time. And then after a few days, my mom called in one of our early mornings, which is their evening time in India, and she said, I have to tell you something. And my mom, she usually, like, even my dad or my mom, they doesn't say something like that because we are very far away. They try to hide things for us, but this time she was super bold. She called and she said, hey, you have to understand that we are just your guardians. Maybe we are your parents on this earth, but your real parent is Jesus. Just depend on him. I was like, what are you talking about? And then she says, dad's condition is very bad. You never know what's going to happen next minute, and I don't think he's going to make it. So that's exactly what she said to me. And the next minute that I know is like I cannot think about anything. And then she said, if something happens to dad, and then that I'm not gonna be here, my heart will break. So you just have to depend on yourself and only depend on God. So because we are just the guardians, and maybe we are done until now, that's what she said. And I was alone again. That was so super discouraging, hearing that from my mom. And it was like pretty much like done deal, that's what she was saying. And then by my heart, I was going through a season at that point of time, and there were many people who were encouraging me here in the United States, and one of the persons was Mrs. Hawkins. I brought her name because maybe she'll accept it if she sees this, but such an encouragement, such a mentor that I had in that season. There were so many people from India that were calling me. One of my favorite aunties, Bajanti, she was encouraging me in her own way. But Mrs. Hawkins here, she reminded me a verse that comes from Proverbs, life and death is in your tongue. So she said, just claim life. And then she gifted me a book called 365 Days of Healing. And that book is such a blessing, scriptural, everything that we get, in that book. When I read that book, that gives me nothing but encouragement and power, and then power to pray, and it taught me how to pray. So I was going on this, and then I fasted for 7 days at that point of time, and all that I used to pray was like, Lord, I do not want to hear any doctors outputs or doctors results or whatever they say. I do not want to believe on anything, but I just want you to do this miracle for me, that however my dad was when I left India, how his condition was and how he was able to walk and then do all his stuff by himself, when I go back to visit him, because I was planning to visit him with his condition, right? So I said, when I'm going back to the country, I want to see my dad the same way, the same way that I saw him when I left the country. And it was like mumkin deal, most of the people, when they know his condition, when they saw how he is, at that point of time, nobody would nobody would even join with me with that prayers. But there were some people who were encouraging me, that's how you're supposed to pray. Many times in your life you may be thinking that this is not going to happen, this is super impossible, this can be done, or but we always have to remember one thing, that it is impossible with you. That's what the word says. It's impossible with us. It may be not possible with me, but the spirit in me, the God that I believe in, for him nothing is impossible. And God gave me such strength to depend on him. And then I prayed only one prayer, that just let me see him how I saw him when I left the country. And sure enough, when I went back to the country, my dad was there in the airport to pick me up. He was going back to his work. It just came back to normal. I'll show you the pictures of before and after. I was talking about that I took a screenshot, and then after I went home, the first Sunday that I took his picture again, to compare both the pictures, and you will see the difference. It's just not, this testimony is not just recorded for one particular thing, because there are so many things that are included in this testimony. Like, first thing is, of course, glorifying God. We cannot thank him enough. You're seeing him alive right here, you're seeing him healthy right here. There were many obstacles to do this testimony as well, of course, enemy attacks, but again, God in us is greater than anybody else on this earth. So the first thing is definitely glorifying God, and the second thing is for us to remind again, remember again, like remind ourselves again that the greater things that he did in our past and he's going to do in our future. It's such a privilege to bring his testimonies, the works of his hand and miracles to your presence. And the next thing is to encourage you all. Maybe you are in that kind of situation right now, maybe a friend of yours, maybe a family members of yours, with this COVID that is going on and around, such agony and pain everywhere. Maybe this testimony will help one person out there, that gives strength to you and hope to you, and cling on towards God's promises and then claim them. And I'm sure that will bring back life into your lives. And I hope and pray that this encouraged you. And please comment down below whatever Lord is doing in your life, so that would encourage us even more. Guys, we all need to encourage each other right now. The situation is not good at all outside, so it is us who have to encourage each other. Maybe you do not know me personally, but here I am. You can just comment down below, or you can just I'm trying my best to get onto the social media. I'm very bad at it, but I'm trying to get onto Instagram, so you can be in touch with me in personal level as well. Pray for me for that. But other than that, we are done, I guess. And thank you for going with us all this way and listening to our testimony all this way. God bless you. Please, until now, if you did not subscribe, go ahead and click on subscribe button, and then click on that bell button if you haven't yet, so the notifications will get to you whenever we upload our new videos. And don't forget to like, share with your friends. Be blessed, guys. Bye bye. Thank you.